Good evening, everybody. Here I am at the Palazzo, having a bit of fun. Just had a very nice 2 meetings in Joburg. My second meeting was at my first meeting in Woodmead, and with a company specializing in water filters and some very interesting capillary type activity. And then in the afternoon, a meeting with my advocate about my constitutional court case at Palazzo Hotel. And I'm outside and I want to talk to you about total cost of ownership. Total cost of ownership. Okay, let's just see what we see over here. We've got some nice fountains, got nice parks. You know, this is another oasis like what we saw yesterday at the Nelly in Cape Town. And here we are looking at the Palazzo in Joburg. I think what I'm going to do is just stand up here. Hopefully it's not too noisy, but we can get some kind of view of some beautiful background activity and see what to do. It's actually quite nice to do filming in this way. Sit here with a fountain in the background, and I can talk to you, and we can talk about total cost of ownership. So now, let's suppose that I'm building my water system. Okay, I'm cleaning water. Maybe I'm even building your water system. Okay, but my water system, I need to take water out of the ground. I need to clean the water, and I need to make it potable. I need to clean it for a number of purposes. First thing I need to clean it for is so that I can use it in my garden and my swimming pool. And the next thing to do is to make it drinkable. Now I have people working for me. Okay, subcontractors, if you like, and they all have got the same problem. Okay, and the problem is a lack of understanding of total cost of ownership. And I find this not only with my subcontractors, but also even with my IT clients, etc. People using free software and misunderstanding that yes, the software is free, but perhaps the development time is 5 times as long as paying for software. So you could buy software that costs 20,000 Rand, but allows you to develop 5 times faster than software that's free. So if you have a person who costs you 1,000 Rand a month, maybe it doesn't matter, rather use the free software. If you have a person who costs you 50,000 Rand a month, maybe it's worthwhile buying 20,000 Rand of software. But let's just look at a slightly easier case. The easier case is that in my water system I need 50 millimeter pipes, and I need valves for 50 millimeter pipes. Now, let's suppose I need 30 meters in total, and I need 10 or 12 valves. Okay, so I do a work breakdown construction. I work out when I start the project that I need these 10 or 12 valves, and I need 6 meters or 10 meters of pipe. So I go off and I buy that. Okay, but now let's suppose what I do with my subcontractors is that I pay them on the materials at cost price, and I pay them an hourly rate, because I know how difficult it is for a subcontractor or a small person to quote properly. Okay, to win the project. Okay, and then to actually make money, okay, and actually complete the project. So what I do is I say to everybody, I'll pay you your cost of materials, and I'll pay you an hourly rate. Now let's suppose that a valve costs 50 Rand, okay, and let's suppose I'm paying the person 400 Rand an hour. Okay, if they need to go buy one valve, that valve costs 450 Rand. Okay, because it's going to cost 400 Rand for them to go to the shop, and then it's going to cost 50 Rand for the valve. If, on the other hand, they buy 10 valves in one time, the valves will cost 500 Rand, the labor will cost 400 Rand, 400 plus 500 is 900 Rand, 900 divided by 10 valves is 90 Rand. Each valve costs 90 Rand, as opposed to the one valve which costs 450 Rand. So it makes a lot of sense to buy more than you need, especially where the cost of the part is much less than the cost of the labor. If you need to go buy a 5,000 Rand pump, okay, it makes sense to buy one, see if it works, and then buy another one. Because then the pump each one costs 5,400, and if you buy two and you find that it doesn't work, you've got a problem. Because if you return it and it's been used, then even if it's less than a week old, the supplier might want a 15% rebate fee, etc., etc. Especially when you're doing R&D, research and development, and you need to see how many of these pumps you need. So let's get back to the valves. Okay, if the man runs out of valves, or labourer or subcontractor, and they need to go buy one valve, that valve costs 450 Rand. If they do the project and they use 8 out of the 10 valves that they bought, each of those valves cost 90 Rand. There's 2 valves left over which weren't used, okay, and so the total, and those valves can be used in the next project. Now I said to my wife, why is it that people work like this? And she says because clients get cross with suppliers who end up having 5 meters of spare pipe and 3 valves left over. And that's our problem as clients. We need to understand that at some point, okay, the labor could be 70% of the cost of the system, and the pipe work, valves, tanks, etc. are less. Or you could have a system where maybe the equipment costs millions of rands and the labor is a relatively small amount. Or you could have an IT program where the labor is maybe 90 or even 95% of the cost of the product. So I just want us to look at this today and say, what is the total cost of ownership of what I'm doing? Have I looked at all the variables? Have I seen that I can buy one valve for 450 Rand or I can buy one valve for 90 Rand? And even if I have 2 valves left over, those 2 valves cost me 180 Rand, which is still cheaper than using 7 valves and having to go and buy another valve and not having any valves left over, but wasting a lot of money either on time, and if you have a fixed price contract, you still have to understand that your contractor went to buy the valve in his time, and maybe someone else said, I need my product to be finished before you, and then you find your contractor disappears for 2 weeks, and so on. Next time we're going to talk about 1 week at a time, how the project got to be 4 months behind schedule. Thank you from the Palazzo in Joburg.